Hey everybody, this is DIY Coach Al at Lawn Care and Home Repair. Snow finally left the grass, but it left some dollar spot fungus for me to remember it by. Good thing I had one of my good friends hanging around, Mr. Propiconazole. Be right back. We're going to take care of this. Hey everybody, DIY Coach Al at Lawn Care and Home Repair. So it's actually cold out here. It's about, I don't know, maybe 45, 50 degrees. And I have to deal with this fungus that has already started to hit me. As I have said before, last year was the first year that I really started to take full care of my lawn, and I realized that the company that I had been using was not really putting down a fungicide. And last year I dealt with a number of issues with weeds, and it was ultimately a successful growing season, but I got hit with what I'm sure was Pythium, dollar spot, brown patch, and there was one more. I can't even think of what it was. The Pythium, a dollar spot, brown patch. But I got hit with about 4 or 5. Rust was the other one that I got hit with. And it's the first year that I'm actually proactively treating for the fungus. I had to do it kind of reactively last year. And I normally wouldn't put this down this early, but I have some issues that I noticed after the snow finished melting. I realized that I have more dollar spot over here. And this was after it snowed. Now, I'd already had some over here that I knew I was going to have to deal with, but this was not here before it snowed. I'm not sure how that's going to look on camera, but those dollar spots were not there before. So now I'm going to have to deal with the dollar spots. And I want to do it now because, as I said, I can see that it's already spreading. So one of my viewers, I really appreciated, I wish I could remember who it was telling me, I used Bio Advanced last year to really deal with when I had that outbreak after that deluge of rain that we have. And I believe that one, the Bio Advanced, that the fungicide in that is propiconazole. And it really did do a really good job. It helped to get things cleaned up. So I wanted to make sure I dialed in my fungicide treatment. And I'm going to switch between the azoxystrobin and the propiconazole. But one of my viewers was telling me that the azoxystrobin is not specifically indicated for dollar spot. I did not know that. I appreciate the feedback that I got. So thanks to Mr. Ferguson. He was the one who mentioned this gunner that he got on Amazon. It wasn't too expensive, so I went ahead and got the gunner, and I noticed that it did a really good job. And as I said, it is kind of cold out here now, but I'm going to have to go ahead and do this now because I have active growth that's going on out here. And just a reminder, anytime, absolutely positively, anytime you're dealing with anything that has side in it, that means that it's a poison. Unfortunately, you know about homicide, suicide. It means something has died. So you always want to make sure that you are wearing proper PPE. You want to make sure you have your glasses. Definitely make sure you have something that's going to cover your hand. I have to go outside for a second and get something to clean this up with. But you want to definitely make sure you are protecting yourself so that you are not getting anything on you that could be an issue. So definitely make sure you're using proper PPE, specifically for the propiconazole. It's 0.5 ounces per 1,000 square feet per gallon of water. So I have about 10,000 square feet. So I'm just going to fill this up to 3 gallons and just do 3,000 square feet at a time. Want to definitely make sure you're mixing this well. And I got the wrong the wrong paddle on here. Definitely want to make sure you are mixing it well. Now, normally I would just shake that up, but I really want to make sure I'm getting this down, getting it in the soil. So I'm going to just go ahead and make sure it's getting mixed up really well. And I'm standing back because I don't want this stuff splashing on me. So I just filled it with 2 gallons initially. Want to get that all shaken up in there. And then I'm going to come back and just put another gallon in here. So as I said, it's just really an issue now with trying to make sure that this is not spreading. And because I can see that it's spread already from when the snow was covering the grass to where it is now, I want to go ahead and do this now. I'm not endorsing any products, anything like that, but I've been using this Ryobi, this backpack sprayer. I really like it. I would suggest that if you're going to really get into your lawn care, make sure that you get yourself a good sprayer. And then what you want to do is make sure you've kind of tested it, walk with it a little bit to kind of get what your pace is, because whenever you're using a backpack spray and you're using products that tell you how much you put down per 1,000 square feet, you really want to make sure you're getting that much of that product down and whatever that particular square footage is that you're trying to cover. So because I've been using this for a while, I'm pretty comfortable with knowing where I need to be. So this is the first of 3. Yeah, nice and sudsy. Got that right where I need it to be. And as I said, normally I wouldn't be doing this now. I really wanted to wait until the weather got a little better. But like that saying goes, you have to play the hand that you're dealt. And the hand that I was dealt is that this fungus, this dollar spot, was not going to wait for me, wait for the weather to get a little warmer. So I need to do this now. Be right back. Okay, so another thing that you may want to consider is I don't always use blue dye. I have found that it really does come in handy when I'm putting down my other products, whether it's my root growth stimulant, my fertilizer, whatever else. Every now and then I may use some. I'm just using it now to demonstrate because I'm going to turn it out there and show you what the grass looks like. Just put a little bit in there. And the reason you're doing that is because that blue dye is going to definitely let you know where you've already gone. Now, the one thing about the blue dye is that it can definitely be messy. So you want to make sure you're not getting it on anything that you don't want to cause discoloration, garments and things like that. Every now and then it gets on my deck and I don't mind that because I can just spray it right off. The other good thing about the backpack is that when you have the battery powered backpack is that it allows you to have more even coverage when you're going versus the hand pump, where after a while the pressure starts to go down and you have to go back and you have to pump it again. So I'm going to actually demonstrate how with the blue dye you kind of see where you're going. I'm going to walk in a slow, steady pace. This video is not going to be much longer than that because I'm just going to show you what it's like when you're putting this stuff down, the pace, that you want to kind of walk at. Oh, sorry about that. The pace that you want to walk at to make sure that you are putting it down in nice, even amounts. And I'm going to actually start right here where I see this, the dollar spot right here. And then I'm going to just, because from here over to that side of the fence, it's about a good 3,000 square feet. So I'm going to go over here and go back that way, and then I'm going to refill my tank and go up. Now I'm just going to do the backyard and not beyond the fence or not my front yard, not seeing any issue out there. So I'm going to wait until the weather gets a little better there. So I'm just going to, now because it's somewhat windy too, I'm going to actually start back a little further or hold this a little lower than I normally would because it is windy out here. Not sure if this is all going to pick up, but I can see the blue dye coming out. And then I'm going to just go in that pattern. This particular nozzle that I have on will do about a 5-foot radius. And as I said, I want to make sure I'm getting the proper amount of fungicide in this area because I don't want to have to deal with this again. So just make sure, like now the wind is blowing a little bit. So I'm going to wait until the wind dies down. There we go. It's died down already. And as I said, the reason I'm doing this now is only because I'm seeing this dollar spot. And because I've had an issue with it since last summer, it looks like this is going to be the one that's going to create the most problems for me. So I want to just go ahead and make sure I'm addressing this now. Definitely want to hit the spots where I see the dollar spot is active. And once again, just using the dye allows me to know the spots that I've already covered so that I'm not putting too much of the product down in one place. And right here, if you can see this, right here is where it's really active. So I want to make sure I'm getting that good. And as I said before, I was not having an issue, a big issue with this until the very end of the summer. I'd already put my pre-emergent down in the fall. I used the Very Green by Jonathan Green and haven't had issues with any broadleaf weeds or anything like that. Obviously, it's still kind of cold, maybe too cold for those to even come up. But I did want to make sure that I was doing my part and making sure that I'm tackling this while I can see it. Not sure if you guys can see that because it is sunny, but you can see where I've gone back and forth. Let's see if we maybe take it down here a little bit. Sorry about the moving, but maybe you can see because the sun was up there. Maybe you can see where I put the blue dye, where I put the fungicide, because you can see the blue dye. And from using this gunner last year, as I said before, it actually worked really well. And I really appreciate it. I wish I could remember the viewer. First of all, thank you for viewing the channel. I'll take this opportunity to ask, if you haven't done so already, I would really appreciate if you would subscribe to the channel. One of my goals this year is to definitely make sure I'm working even harder to post as often as possible, and I really want to build the channel up. And I appreciate being part of the lawn care community. I love watching the video. Yard Bruh, Ryan Noor, Ron Henry, the Lawn Amateur, Lawn Care Nut. I really enjoy watching what everybody else is doing because I take some of what they do and incorporate that into my own lawn care. And I can say that watching their videos has actually helped me with what I'm doing in my lawn. So once again, I'm not sure how this is showing on camera because I have my glasses on, which are polarized, so I can't tell if you can see that blue there. But I'm going to go ahead and finish this now. Just wanted to say, if in fact you are already experiencing anything in your lawn, in my case it's the dollar spot. I know that this dollar spot, I've dealt with it before. If you're experiencing anything like that in your lawn, the weather may not be cooperating as much as you wanted to, but you definitely want to tackle this before it's too late. This is Alfonso, the DIY God Coach Lawn Care and Home Repair. I would once again really appreciate it if you would hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification button, because that way you'll be notified when I put my next video up. Y'all have a good one. Bye. So I wanted to just give an update on what it's looking like. As I said before, when you use the dye, it definitely helps you to see where you've made your passes is really good. Once again, if you're not comfortable with using your sprayer and not sure of what your walking pattern is like. But this I wanted to use to dye just to show you what it looks like. This stuff washes away eventually. But I realized as I was going about putting the propiconazole down that I actually had more dollar spot than I thought. What I used was the rate on the gunner, the propiconazole. It indicated 0.5 ounces per gallon per 1,000 square feet, and it can be repeated in 14 days. What I will most likely do is a repeat application depending upon what the weather's like. It's actually calling for snow at the time of me shooting this video. It's actually Super Bowl Sunday. I'm going to probably hit this again if I can get it within that 2 or 3 week window. Going to do that. You don't typically want to use the same fungicide too many times in a row. A fungus is actually a living organism. A living organism can actually develop tolerance to a fungicide. In the medical field, the healthcare field, we actually call it, the word is refractory. That means that something is now resistant. I don't want this fungus to become refractory and be resistant to the propiconazole. So the application I'm going to do the next time is going to be the propiconazole because it is specifically indicated for dollar spot. As I said before, I dealt with the dollar spot, I dealt with the pythium, I dealt with the brown patch, and I also dealt with the rust. So this year I had to start early with my fungicide. I'm going to definitely make sure I keep that dialed in, my program dialed in. The other thing I'm going to make sure I do this year, last year I was actually guilty of watering my grass sometimes at maybe 2 or 3 in the morning. Fungus actually develops when your grass, that water sits on your grass in your lawn too long, and then you get that heat, you get that humidity. If your lawn stays too wet and you're not mowing it regularly, and then that heat, that humidity hits, those are perfect conditions for fungus to hit. And I did deal with all of those last year. So I am definitely hoping for a better growing season this year in terms of not having to deal with the fungus. But what I did, as I said, was to put the 0.5 ounces down per 1,000 square feet per gallon of water. I actually put a little extra down because now that I saw that it spread, I want to make sure I'm on top of this. Also saw over here in this area, the way the water settled in the last bouts of rain that we had, actually had a little bit of some bare spots over there. So now I have to decide what I'm going to do. I already ordered my prodiamine. I'm going to, I think it's barricaded if I'm not mistaken. I am going to do my pre-emergent once those temperatures hit around 50 degrees. But what I plan on doing is using my prodiamine over on this area, but there are some spots that I'm going to have to grow some grass. Prodiamine is going to have an impact on trying to grow new grass seed. It's already challenging to grow grass seed in the summer, in the spring and the summer, but I have some projects that I have to work on, including this part of the lawn. So I'm going to get creative, and I'm going to use the prodiamine in the main part of the lawn in those selective spots. I am going to be using my dye to let me know the areas that I hit, because I'm going to use the tenacity. I believe that active ingredient is mesotresone. I could be pronouncing that incorrectly. My mistake if I am, but the tenacity will allow you to use it as a pre and a post emergent, but it will also suppress those weeds and not harm your grass seed when you seed. So yeah, I have some pretty interesting things coming up with how I'm going to do my pre-emergent and how I'm going to do that dreaded spring overseed. But hey, like I said, I enjoy doing this. Alrighty, it's Super Bowl Sunday. Don't know who you all are rooting for. Just make sure you are having fun. God bless you.